Hello, hello and welcome to the Biokinetic K9. Today, live this Thursday, we are talking about what are the most important factors to strength training. Let me just turn this here. Strength training, I love it. I've always been drawn to those strength training skills, especially in people and with dogs, etc. And it's something that I've got an eye for. But let me tell you a little bit about strength training. There are a few things that you need to remember. There's a few things that need to be done correctly and not just as you wish. Neil, hello, how are you? Welcome. So let me just say, first of all, my name is Angela Hearn. I'm a certified K9 athlete specialist. I'm the owner and founder of the Biokinetic K9. Welcome to our live. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me what you're doing. It's always interesting to hear. But let's go on to that strength training factors. So number one, please remember, whatever you do, strength training is a skill. It's not something that, oh, well, let's just do some strength things. It's an actual skill that you teach your dog, just like you train your dog for agility, or you train your dog for IGB, or for any particular competition or qualification. It's a skill. Annika, hi! Hello from Italy. That's so awesome. So, strength training, it's a skill. It isn't built up in a dog or in a human or anything like that overnight. It takes time. It's a process. It takes time. It takes dedication. Skill in developing the form that your dog must do in order to do the exercise takes time in the handler as well. You develop that eye for your dog's form and what is going on in his body. So it is a skill for your dog to do, but it's also a skill which you develop in how you are looking at your dog. When you're looking at your dog, it's always useful to see how they move, what's their top line doing, what are their muscles doing, are they moving equally both sides, all of those things. And that is also a skill that you develop and also takes time. So of course, the more often you do it, the better you become. When you are doing strength training, any bad form is always a bad idea. Please don't just go, oh, well, I saw this, and if I do some rear strength with rough back sits, let me just do this with my dog quickly, and there you go. Always note the form. If you're looking at the form, you are promoting strength correctly. If the form is wrong, you are bringing in a huge risk of injury and just inefficiency altogether, because skills training, a really important factor about it is that you must have proper form and you must have proper efficiency. So your setup for strength training is crucial, because remember, you are teaching your dog a skill. Just like when you go to the gym and you want to do a squat, how you sit yourself up underneath that bar and hold your body and to hold that bar carefully so that you can move fluently through the whole range of the squat is really important. If you don't set yourself up properly, you can damage your back, you can damage your knees, you can damage your hips or ankles, all of these things, and you are not going to become as strong as what you should. The same thing happens with the dog. If you're not setting your dog up properly, you are setting your dog up for failure. You are setting your dog up for injury. So please note these things. Kay, hello, welcome. When you are looking at form helps the dog utilize and leverage his body better to make exercises really efficient. And you always want efficient exercises and efficient motion on a competition field. When your dog's body is moving efficiently, it's using the maximum force with the minimum effort in everything that they do, even when it comes to simple heel work, when it comes to your positions in motion, like your sitting motion, your standing motion. If you want those positions to pop and to really look powerful, instead of just a normal sit like we sit on the couch, you want the sit to look like it's part of your squat range of motion. you want to make sure that that muscle memory and that efficiency of muscle use is there. And that comes when you set up with a proper form when you are practicing your strength exercises. So form is really crucial, and it transfers onto the competition field. Another example, if the people that go to gym and you're doing bench press, when you're doing bench press, you can either just lie on the bench and put the weight up and down from your chest, or you can plant your feet into the ground and stabilize your entire core and then take the bar off the rack. That will give you much more power in your thrust upwards and control down instead of you just lying on the bench. And you'll see your professional powerlifters and weightlifters, they plant their feet into the ground to do a bench press of all things. You'd never say that that is required, but planting the feet into the ground closes that chain and makes the whole body stronger for that efficient movement of strength through the bench press bar. The same thing happens with your dog. So if you have got your form correct, the efficiency in the movement for the dog becomes optimal, and the body then knows how to leverage itself and what muscles to use to get to any part of the field better. So especially when your dog is launching for the helper, they know exactly how to brace their core and to use that backward thrust in the hindquarters and drive it through the spine and take it forward to launch at the helper, and then use the shoulders properly to fight the helper and land again and fight the helper. All of those muscles know how to be utilized because you've practiced proper form in your strength movements. The body becomes efficient. Then, of course, consistency. We are all just a little bit wavering on this point, myself included. We need to be consistent. Look, many times life gets in the way. Angie, hello, how are you? So life gets in the way, and we need to understand about being consistent. What we're talking about here is life can get in the way, but then start again. Don't start where you left off. You don't have to start at point number one, but you can't just start where you left off. Start, make sure your dog is moving properly, and then build him up in his strength again. Please, if you are a gym goer and suddenly you are on holiday for a few weeks, or you are ill for a few weeks, you can't just start where you left off. But consistency helps with that strength, that process of gaining strength within the body. So consistent setup, for example, also will provide for consistently optimized form in the body. And we're not talking about just training harder and harder in order to become stronger and stronger. We're not just talking about that. We're also talking about training regularly. So consistency and regularity go hand in hand. It's not just about training consistently harder, because that's also one way of you to lose some of your strength gains. That must be monitored over a nice period of time. So you want to build, you want to maintain, and you want to rest, and you want that consistent rollover for strength gains. So the key takeaway here is, if you want to do strength training, at least 2-3 times a week is nice, but minimum of twice a week for some dedicated strength training with your dog if you want to really excel in your sport. Not just once a week on the weekend when we go train our dogs. Keep your strength training consistent so that the body can then gain that muscle memory efficiently. So you want consistent form for efficiency. Really important here for strength gains and to make your dog stronger for longer. You need proper programs in order to incorporate that overload system. So if you don't have a plan, you are not going to get where you need to be. A plan is always there, taking you along that path to your goal. And if you don't have that path, well, you're just wandering around. So not having a plan is also not having a goal. It's also not having your success. You're really setting up your dog for failure in the end if you don't, and you just wing it. So have a plan, write down, take just a few hours and write down your plan towards your goal. And in that plan, overload is really important, because overloading the muscles is required to increase strength. So you want to increase the volume that you're placing on the muscle. So how difficult are you making the muscle, are you making that muscle use its energy to create that movement? How difficult is that movement, that muscle contraction? And also, how long can you hold the contraction, or for how many repetitions can you do that contraction? Is it going to be increasing? And if you want proper strength, there's a certain amount of repetitions to go before it just becomes a cardio event. So your number of repetitions determine your strength, and then determine your stamina afterwards before it becomes an easy cardio event. So you want to build up your overload over time. It doesn't all just happen in one day or in the week. I've done 5 sets today. Let me do another 7 by 2 days' time. Take it week for week. Don't rush your dog's body. You must remember your dog can't tell you that, well, that was a really heavy workout. Can we just take a break? Because especially our dogs, they just want to go and go and go. They will work themselves into the ground. Their form will waver. Their ability to hold and maintain their posture will waver. And these are the things you look out for in your strength training. And that's where you have a proper program overload development within your training. That's also why it's really, really important that when you are doing your program and you're doing your strength training, you watch your dog every day. You may have your program, but your program is not set in stone. Because say, for example, you've done a big strength training day, and then tomorrow you've got some visitors and they come around and the dog is busy all day and he doesn't have a proper rest. And you can't just go and do your training. If you see your dog is a little bit fatigued and tired and you think like, oh geez, why aren't we doing this as easy as what we should be? Think about what's happened in the last few days. Has it been really hot? Has it been really humid? Has it been busy? Have you been moving? Has there been stress? All of these things affect the energy levels and the strength factors within your dog. So have your program, but remember it's not set in stone. Always consider the few days prior to the exercises that you are doing so that you can go forward properly. So you have your periodized plan, and so that your correct overload happens at the correct time and you are leading towards your goal or your trial. So you're going to try and peak your dog just before your trial, for example, but just before your trial, you're going to back off and you're going to back down and you're going to give those muscles ample time to recovery. So your program is always going towards a goal or towards a trial date, and that's why you can, it's not set in stone, it is malleable so that you are aiming for that direction, but you're also still watching your dog, watching for injury, watching for fatigue, watching for, wow, that was a really good session today. Should we carry on? Should we push it a little bit? Should we back off? And see how we can increase the rest of our training for our actual sport as well. Then from that, you are looking at recovery. When it comes to strength training, recovery is really, really something else. I know a lot of people, they get so excited, they're just going to push the dog, push the dog, push the dog. But that recovery is so important. Just like us, the dogs have got the exact same muscles as us. And if we are going to just be pushing our muscles all the time without proper recovery, we are going to wear ourselves down, and we're going to wear our dogs down, and we're going to push them through towards burnout. So to help with that recovery, there are a few things that you really need to consider. Rest, a day rest. If you're doing a big strength training day with your dog, at least 24 to 48 hours of rest, or they call it active rest, just some light work, just a walk around the block, but absolute rest for those muscles, because those muscles have been working hard and they've been torn down. They are tearing, and the body needs to repair them so that they can become stronger. And that repair requires rest, sleep, and of course, nutrition and supplementation. So make sure you've got really good supplements, especially for muscles and joints, and good nutrition. And then quite an interesting thing, rehydration. Many dogs, especially our working dogs, they are so excited all the time that they may be busy drinking the water and then, oh, there's a bird, and then they stop drinking. and they're going around and they're running around the garden, or they're drinking the water and you just walking past them and they go, oh, there you are, and they stop drinking their water. So make sure that your dog is hydrated. That is very important for recovery. It helps feed the muscles and keeps all the fascia, hydrated. So make sure that your dog gets good hydration. I always put food, whenever I feed my dogs morning and night, I put water in their food, make sure they clear their bowls, that I know they've at least got that much water in them, at least in the day. But hydration is a big factor. It causes the dog to lose not only physical stamina and strength, but it also causes them to lose mental focus. So especially our hunting dogs, if they are out there hunting in the fields and they're running around for hours and they're not drinking and they go on point, they may be able to be on point, but there's this slight waver in the body and they take a step and you lose the mark or the bird is flushed. It's just that they don't have that hydration and that physical and mental focus on the task at hand. Same with our positions in motion. If the dogs are working really, really hard and you're running and you ask the dog to stand, the dog can stand, but he can't hold the stand because his mental focus is not there, because he's dehydrated. So watch that hydration. Your rest equals repair of the body. That is really important. An important point to note with regards to rest as well is also to sometimes deload or taper your strength training just to prevent burnout and injury. Good form is always available through just normal active recovery. You can just do the light movements for active recovery, but don't make every single strength training day more difficult than the next. Sometimes the body just needs to go, let's relax a little bit and just take it easy for a day or two, and then we can carry on. So supplement again for muscle joints, and then pre or post training or trial events to maintain that muscle energy and that muscle energy and stamina for the tasks at hand. So if these things helped you to understand if you're going to be doing strength training, please remember that it is a skill. It takes time. It's a skill. Teach your dogs these skills. Watch their form. Their form is really important because the form makes the body more efficient in movement. Don't just do something with half form. As soon as their form starts to slip and start to waver and they're moving their feet a little bit too much, or they're not standing in that position to make that form of their strength training movements optimal, stop, give them a rest. You can always carry on later in the day. But watch their form. That form is your precursor to, is there a problem? Is there an injury? Is there discomfort? Is there fatigue? So watch the form. It is crucial for efficiency and setup of the body. Of course, be consistent when you're going to be doing strength training. Don't hummer once a week and, oh, when we're ready, and then just put the dog through the mill. Be consistent at least 2 to 3 times a week. You can go up to 4 times a week with strength training, but give adequate rest in between. Please, for your recovery, rest of 24 to 48 hours on really big strength training days where full big muscles are being used to the max. So that would be like heavy helper work sessions when it comes to seminars and big training before trials, all of these things for your agility, big jump days. So watch for that. And of course, get your program ready. Sit down, get your program, make days for training, make days for strength, and don't forget to include some flexibility, etc. Actually, you can do a lot of dynamic flexibility training included in your strength training. So you can get a good stretch, but strengthening the muscles as well. So don't forget those, because flexibility is really important when you're doing strength training. Remember, a lot of strength training causes a lot of muscle contraction and it makes the muscles tight. So you want to make sure that there is a balanced side to your training program where you're including flexibility as well. So I hope you found this interesting. We are putting our foundation strength program together. I'm running it behind a day or two, but we are sending out the notifications next week. So if you're interested in doing a foundations strength training, our strength training program, please just put foundations in the comments and I will include you in our notifications. So foundations, this is where you learn all the skills for all your strength training. If you can do your foundations correctly and you know what to look for in your dog and you know what to look for in the form, then you are well on your way. It is part of building your skill repertoire for strength training. So let me know in the comments, do put down foundations, and then I can get hold of you as soon as we get that ready. We'll be talking about all the ins and outs of various parts of strength training in your dog. If there's anything else that you need to ask me about, if you need to email about anything, my email is fit@thebiokinetic-canine. Send me a mail and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. And there you go. I think that is it. We've got some workshops. I'll put the links for you in the chat box. When it comes to the Canine Athlete Workshop, we're looking at why conditioning is important for our dogs as an athlete. And then we've also got a static workshop where you're looking at static positions and how you can tell if your dog is uncomfortable or if there's some discomfort in the body or a pending injury that you can attend to before anything really bad happens with the dog. I'll put those links for you in the workshop. Awesome. Oh, we've got some lovely people that have come through and visited. That's awesome. Thank you, Angie. Thank you. Fabulous info as always. You are a superstar. You must see the awesome work Angie has done with her dog. She sent me the photographs. I am so wow with this dog. You've done some really excellent work with your dog. So have a really excellent rest of the week. Have a happy training weekend. If you want to send me photographs of your dog, you're most welcome. They always make my day. And I'm going to say good evening, and I see you all again next week. Let me put all my details up here for you guys. Where are we? There. Let me see if I can be really good with this. That. And then there you go. I shall see you guys all next week. Bye-bye now.